Pratyabhijnahradayam, Sutra 1. The first sutra is Chitti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu. Chitti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu. Chitti, consciousness. Swatantra is independent. Vishwa, the universe. Siddhi, maintenance, manifestation and absorption or dissolution of the universe. Hetu, the cause. Consciousness, independence is cause of this universe, is cause of siddhi of this universe. Cycle of manifestation, maintenance and absorption of this universe. In this first sutra, two things are clear. One is consciousness is the creator of the universe. Number two, consciousness is independent. We say that in this universe, everything is dependent on other. Your body is dependent on 5 objects, 5 elements, which comprise your entire body structure. Everything which you say matter is dependent on its second part, which is perspective of the matter. To exist means simply to come out. If we say the consciousness is independent, it simply means that consciousness does not depend on any other thing to exist. In this existence, nothing is independent. Nothing is independent. Everything is dependent on other things to exist. But there is one thing which is independent, and that is consciousness. There ought to be a thing which is independent, which makes possibility for the other things to exist, and that is consciousness. Consciousness does not depend on any other thing to exist. That is why it is known as self-knowing principle. Self-knowing. If I say right now to be aware of your knowingness, you are seeing the screen. You are seeing the speaker. Can you be aware of this knowing or this awareness through which you are seeing the speaker? Can you be aware of that? Right here, right now. You are seeing, and the seeing is perceived. The seeing is perceived and you know that something is perceiving the seeing. When I ask you a question or you ask yourself, am I aware? Right here, right now. I have asked this question to many people and no one has said no. Everyone says, yes, I am aware of my awareness. I am aware right now. And just by saying that I am aware, you are indirectly making a statement that you are aware of your awareness. Because what else you are apart from this knowing? Only after having the experience of knowing, a thought comes that I am the knower. But knower doesn't exist when the knowing happens. When the knowing happens, neither the subject exists nor the object exists. Neither the seer nor the object, just seeing happens. Only awareness can be aware of itself. Nothing else can be aware of itself. But simply the awareness. That is why a lot of work has been done on this aspect of consciousness or this aspect of knowing. Nobody talks about enlightenment of a tree. Nobody talks about enlightenment of a stone. Nobody talks about enlightenment of a laptop, of a computer. But enlightenment of human beings. Because there is a possibility of knowing the knowing itself. By becoming aware of the awareness, you are knowing the knowing itself. Chitti Swatantra. That is why consciousness is totally independent. It doesn't depend on anything else. You should not confuse by saying that I am this body and I am, through this body, I am knowing myself. Through this body and because of this body, you are illusioned. You are illusioned to be this body. The body can cause illusion, but the body cannot cause enlightenment. When a man is self-realized or enlightened, he is able to see him or herself in his or her true nature, which is consciousness. And in consciousness, you don't see subject and object relationship. There is only one consciousness, which is knowing itself. Chitti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu. It can also be translated like this: consciousness out of its free will becomes the cause of the siddhi of the universe. Out of its free will. Because of its independent nature, it has free will. This is also worth understanding, that anything which is independent, truly independent, must have free will. Because if your will is coming out of some samskaras, some dogmas, some concepts which are dead, if your will is coming from dead stuff, then you cannot be independent. That's why consciousness does not fail. You see 7 billion people roaming around the earth, and all 7 billions have different faces, different minds, different patterns, different individuality. Is that possible without free will? Is that possible with concepts and dogmas? The consciousness or the universe or the nature itself is expanding, ever expanding, due to its free will. Chitti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu. It is totally uncausal. Here we can think like this also, that it's a play of consciousness. And we are just an experiment of this play. A small little experiment called human beings. Much bigger civilizations has been there, and they will be even after this civilization. Consciousness is independent. Consciousness doesn't depend on you. You cannot make a difference. Practically, you cannot make a difference. Relatively, you can. Relatively, you can. But practically, you cannot. Chitti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu. Out of its free will, it becomes the cause of the universe. If we go nude into this consciousness, right here, right now, what you will find is only the consciousness. You may say that different sensations in your bodies arise, different thoughts arise, but where do they arise? Where do perceptions happen? Different sensations, different thoughts, all these perceptions happen only in the consciousness. Consciousness is the playground in which all these perceptions, thoughts, sensations, feelings, all these happen. So it means, what is the stuff that these thoughts are made of? What is the stuff of what stuff these perceptions are made of? The answer will be consciousness. You can right here, right now, analyze this and put this thing into your experience. You are seeing different things around you, but if you closely observe this, where all these seeings are actually happening. You see this screen maybe a few feet away from you, and then you see a door or a wall on clock or any other thing which is, say, 10 feet away from you. But in your perception, is there any distance? No. It means all things arise in consciousness, and consciousness is only aware of the consciousness itself. When I say I see you, this is a wrong sentence. If we closely analyze this, I means essentially the consciousness inside me, see through the instrument of seeing, you, the object. The object comes into perception of the consciousness as consciousness. So consciousness becomes aware of the consciousness. There is no subject, there is no object. It is just the consciousness is becoming aware of the consciousness. So whenever you take a thought, whenever you have a perception, sensation, it is just the consciousness becoming aware of itself. It is all the experience. Chitti Swatantra Vishwa Siddhi Hetu. The consciousness out of its free will becomes cause of manifestation, maintenance and destruction of the universe. And this happens instantly, spontaneously, without any reason. There is no cause behind the universe. There is no... It may seem negative, but that's true. Second sutra is also very important, and which explains the first sutra in more detail, is Svechchaya Svabhitto Vishwam Unmilayati. Svechchaya, through its self-will, Swa-Ichcha, Svabhitto, on its own wall. Bhitto is wall. Vishwam, universe, Unmilayati, is unfolded, or the consciousness through its own will unfolds the universe on itself. This will make the first sutra more clear, that the universe out of its own free will unfolds itself. And where does it unfold itself? On itself. On itself. on itself. Let's understand this by our own experience, right here, right now, sitting here. Swechchaya swabhitto vishwam unmilayati. If you go right here into your deeper consciousness or your awareness, the one thing which is aware of this experience right here, right now, we are having a conversation. This experience of conversation is known by whom? It is known by the awareness, or it is known by the consciousness, right? So now the consciousness is having this experience of this conversation. If I would ask where this experience is happening, if you look into yourself and see where this conversation is happening, you will find that in the consciousness only. If you talk about the inner experience, then an experience of these vibrations in form of the sound, in form of seeing, all perceptions are vibrations in this zero field of awareness, which is right here, right now. So in this zero field of awareness, in this spacious empty awareness, there are vibrations in form of these words and these sights or these perceptions. Some vibrations are happening, and due to these vibrations a world is coming into existence. And where does this world is coming into existence? In the consciousness only. So on the wall of consciousness, you can also use the word screen, because it may help as a metaphor. Screen is a better word. When you go into theater and you watch a movie, there is a screen, and the whole movie unfolds on that screen. So the consciousness is unfolding itself as the universe. The consciousness is unfolding this universe on itself. The only difference between this physical screen and this screen of consciousness is this, that there are two differences. One, here the screen itself is the projector. The screen itself is the projector. The screen itself unfolds somehow the universe on itself, the picture on itself, the movie on itself. So the projector is the screen itself first. Second, second thing is why the consciousness need to unfold itself as the universe. Why the consciousness need to unfold itself as the universe. Many times we ask this question when a sadhak goes to these are the extreme questions. Very few people are able to ask these questions in their living form. very few, limited, can be counted on the fingers, who ask this question that why this universe exists, why consciousness needs this melodrama. The answer is in this sutra, Svechhaya, due to its own free will. Let's understand this free will thing. In your life, you had made many decisions, right? But I would say you have not made any decision in your life. Any decision. Even watching this video, you haven't made this decision. There is something else, there is someone else, or there is something else which is taking all these decisions. And it pretend to be you. You as the mind. You as the mind take responsibility of the decision only after the decision is being taken. There was a research also on this matter a few months back, and it was found that actually we take responsibility of the decision after the decision is taken. So mind is not taking the decision, it is taking responsibility of the decision. And that's why it lives in hell. That's why most of our lives are in hell. Because we take doership of these decisions. We become doer. And we are not aware that there is not any decision which has been taken by you as consciousness. It's free will. It's your free will. Decisions are not taken by you. Let's analyze this with a simple experiment. For example, a waiter comes to you and he says, "What will you have, sir, tea or coffee?" You say, "Coffee." Okay. So now it will seem that you have chosen coffee over tea. At that point, you had a choice of having tea or coffee, and then you took the decision of coffee. Right? That's what our experience is. Now let's go deeper into this. When the waiter asked that, "Do you like tea or coffee?" and then you made a decision that I will have coffee. What happened between that? What was the process of decision making? Something arose in you which said, "No, the coffee, not the tea. I want coffee." Was that you? Was that you? And are you sure? Are you sure that it was you? And if you say that I was there as a mind, then let me tell you straight away that there is no thing called the mind. It does not exist in reality. Mind is just, what is mind? A collection of thoughts. Right? And we, from our previous experience, we have seen that consciousness takes form of these thoughts. So, actually, There is no you who is taking the decision. And there may be times when you will not ask for the coffee. You may ask for the tea. You are walking on a road and you see a snake passing by. Now, will you make a decision to run back or jump over? Will you make a decision? Will you stop and think? No. The decision will happen spontaneously. If you are to be bitten by the snake, you will fall on the snake. There is no one who is taking the decision. It is spontaneity. Uncausal spontaneity. It may be hard to digest, but you have not taken a single decision in your life. And that is why you shouldn't be burdening yourself with right or wrong decisions. With the right decision, and the decision, the act of decision is approached by the thought later on, much later on. It was seen that few people, they were offered some drinks, and then their hand went to their desired drink even before the thought came that what they want to drink. And it was seen that 4 seconds before this decision was made. Many times you think that I am going to do things this way, and it doesn't happen this way. And then you curse yourself. You curse yourself that you are not able to succeed because you wanted things to be on a particular pattern. Consciousness has free will. Consciousness, out of its free will, unfolds itself on its own screen. So, what is consciousness? Is free, independent, and enjoying itself with itself. Or I can say that in any experience, consciousness is becoming conscious of itself. With every experience, consciousness is becoming conscious of itself. The third sutra is Tad Nana Rupa Grahya Grahak Bhedat.